is no stranger to network marketing, has built up massive teams in this industry. But his background, not only as an orthopedic surgeon, 30 years in practice, but he specializes in anti-aging medicine, regenerative care, has a med spa that he owns. And he said yes to LifeVantage about 60 days ago because of GLP-1. So Dr. Jeffrey, I'm going to pass it to you to kind of break down some of the science for us and some of the things that we learned this weekend at launch.
Yeah, Rachel, thank you so much for inviting me on this call tonight. I'm honored to be here, and I just saw it turn over to 500. That is absolutely amazing. You know, when I was first introduced to LifeVantage, this product was not even announced yet, and my first two meetings with the person that put me in, Lindy Ritzu, put me in, and first two meetings was no and then hell no. And I had done two before. I'd done very, very well in them, but I know how much work it is. And I just wasn't interested in doing it again. But somebody let it slip that there was a weight loss product coming out. And I was on the rocket ship of Visalis when their weight loss product came out. And when I realized what this was a few days later, I realized how massive and how big this is going to be and how it's really going to help people. I've been using prescription GLP-1s in practice for about 3 years now. And we've had some success, but we've also had about a 40% dropout rate. And that's because of the side effects, because of the diarrhea and the constipation and the nausea and the reflux. And then the cost. And so we would have about 40% dropout. And so when I heard what this was, I knew it was going to be huge. I wanted to hop on the rocket ship and ride it with my team and with Team Heart to the top. And so that's why I got in. And the excitement from this weekend's meeting is, I mean, I'm still excited. They announced it Friday night. I didn't sleep at all Friday night. Saturday night, I went out and celebrated with some of the people on the team, but still didn't sleep much, sending out texts and emails. This is so exciting. GLP-1 is a peptide. And what peptides do is peptides will bind to a receptor site, and they will cause their effect on different organs. With GLP-1, it helps regulate blood sugar, it regulates appetite, it regulates the speed of digestion, and it reacts to these receptor sites. But here's the interesting thing. With ours, which you take it to make it, it will boost your own endogenous inside GLP-1. It's not a supplement. We're not taking GLP-1, we're having the body make its own GLP-1. And let me explain how that works, because if you're making your own GLP-1, you have an endless supply. And if you look at the science, and I dove deep into the science, I'm a science guy. So the injectable GLP-1, the drugs that are out there, we all have heard about them. The half-life, which means what it takes to get rid of half of those drugs in our system, is about 7 days. And it takes 4 to 5 weeks for the drug to completely go away. But that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is once the drug binds to its receptor, it only stays there for about 2 minutes, and then it's metabolized and it's excreted in the kidneys. So it doesn't hang out long. So if you think you're injecting 1 injection a week, and by the end of the week, everything that you injected has been used up and excreted, you're not making your own. And the stuff that you inject, because the body sees a higher level of GLP-1, the body stops making its own GLP-1. So it's depending completely on that shot. And because of that, this is the answer. That's why I'm so excited about this. Because now what we're doing is we're giving the body the building blocks to increase its own GLP-1. And when the study came out, and Friday when they announced the results of the study, it increased the people's GLP-1 by 140%. That's absolutely amazing. So now every day there's GLP-1 that can bind to these receptors. And where are these receptors? There's receptors in the pancreas, which helps increase insulin secretion. There's receptors in the muscle that lines the stomach to decrease and slow down digestion. There's receptors in the brain that suppress the appetite. There's receptors in the heart that are cardiac protective, that increase heart health, decreases the risk of high blood pressure, decreases the risk of heart failure, all the things that are associated with diabetes. That's why this drug is so amazing, because it decreases all those effects of diabetes, and it's neuroprotective. So if somebody has high blood sugars, even if you're borderline high, it can affect your nerves. Patients get something called diabetic neuropathy, where their feet go numb. It's all because of the nerves being attacked by the sugar. So this is also nerve protective. So the amazing things that came out of this study is that it helps your relationship with food. It decreases your cravings. It decreases emotional eating. It decreases your impulse. It helps you with that balance between life and weight loss. It's hard to believe, maybe it's not. 82% of Americans think about their weight. 82%. So that one thing shows what a problem is. Obesity is somewhere, depending on what state you live in, anywhere from 30 to 40% of the United States population is obese. And now we have a solution. We have a solution that everyone can get. You don't have to go to your doctor. There is no needles. There's no labs that are needed to go on this supplement. We make it. We take it to make it. We just take the supplement. It gives us the building blocks, and we can make GLP-1. It's absolutely amazing. If we look at the results, and the results of the study are up on the screen, 12-week human clinical study. And I can tell you that with all the other companies I've ever been in, nobody has done a true study. They've done things called white papers, which were written by the company, but it's not actual clinical study. Here they did a human clinical study for 12 weeks. Increased GLP-1 by 140% on average. Average weight loss was 9 pounds in the first 8 weeks. And if you think about what we're talking about, we're taking building blocks so the body can make its own GLP-1. So it's going to be a slow ramp up. So 9 pounds in the first 8 weeks, but up to 25 pounds, 2 pounds a week, 25 pounds in 12 weeks. That's equal to what the prescription drugs are doing. That's exactly where we want patients to be when they're on the prescription drugs, about 2 pounds a week. If you lose more than that, two things happen. One is, chances are you're going to lose your gallbladder because rapid weight loss causes gallbladder disease. And number two, you're probably going to lose your hair because rapid weight loss causes hair loss. And so 2 pounds a week is exactly where we want to be. The next one's amazing. 100% who lost weight did not lose muscle. We would see in our office all the time what we referred to as Ozempic butt. They'd come in, they lost their weight, but they also lost their booty. Everything is hanging, and it was a problem. But with this, we're not seeing. I was thinking about how we're going to combat that problem. The NAD activator would absolutely help us build muscle, but we may not need it. It may be a good protective mechanism to add on, but with the study, we don't need to build the muscle. It seems like the muscle stayed. The next one is really, 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 really important. So 27% loss of visceral fat. This is the fat that surrounds your organs. This is the fat that is a link to heart disease. It's a link to heart attacks. It's a link to stroke. It's a link to early death. And 27% loss in visceral fat. Now, if you look at some of the studies that were done on the prescription drugs, it's less than half that. There's studies out that showed that the loss in visceral fat on the prescription drugs is somewhere between 4.5% and 8%. So this is over three times the high end of what we were seeing with the prescription drugs. Absolutely amazing. 82% took control back that food had over them, and 95% lost their sugar cravings. So, this is making people, I'll tell you, I just started it this weekend and I feel great on it. Sugar cravings are down. Food noise, when you walk past the pantry and you think you need to go in and grab a chocolate chip cookie, none of that. I have been on multiple variations of the prescription drugs, and I feel so much better in the 3 days that I was on the mind body GLP-1 system. I feel tremendously better. And the other thing is, it's patent pending. The company, LifeVantage, is going through the trouble of submitting paperwork. I personally own 3 trademarks, so I know what it takes. It takes attorneys and it takes months, and this is patent pending. They're going through the trouble of making this a patented product. And look at the results. These are some of the people that were in the study, and look at the weight loss. Look at the inches lost. It's absolutely amazing. Most people are down, 14 pounds in 3 weeks, 20 pounds in 4 weeks. They're losing the weight. They're not losing the muscle mass, and they're probably saving their own lives by decreasing their visceral fat. Absolutely.